A neighbor is supposed to be your friend.
It was real peaceful there. Good neighbors, good place to be.
But not all friendships are built to last.
It started as a small dispute between neighbors. Then it started getting rough.
He was waiting for confrontation.
I've been telling the sheriff he's been threatening to kill me.
I know, sir. You two have been fighting back and forth.
I was always armed.
He did it just for the spite of him.
They would push each other's buttons.
I didn't know what he was gonna do next.
He's shooting officers.
And it's like a war going on.
You just knew it was going to end bad.
Sometimes the saying, good fences make good neighbors, is the absolute truth.
A home is supposed to be your safe haven. Our home was far from being a safe haven.
Caldwell County, in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, is the kind of place where everyone knows everyone and folks pride themselves on being neighborly.
It was like a little slice of heaven in the country.
When Tony and Amy Moore moved in that summer of 2007, we all thought they were just about the best neighbors you could hope for. Just a happy couple with two beautiful young girls. Tony had survived a tragedy where he'd lost his leg, so it was great to see the family full of hope and looking to the future.
Knowing you're going to own your own house, it was just built exactly the way you wanted it. We were happy.
It was real quiet, just good neighbors, good place to be.
Perfect. Perfect American dream.
Tony and Amy bought their land from their next-door neighbor, Roland Younts, a Vietnam vet in his early 60s. Roland's wife wasn't in the picture, but his daughter Alicia still lived at home with her boyfriend Ricky. Roland's dog Harley was a household favorite.
We all got along and tried to do things together as a family.
Roland would give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. I mean, he was just a good guy.
Out here in the country, folks depended on each other to get along. So Alicia and Ricky wasted no time in welcoming their new neighbors.
I noticed Tony was handicapped, so I felt the need to maybe go see if they needed any help. I went over there, and the Moore family seemed like a pretty nice family.
It was the beginning of our friendship.
As much as Tony liked his neighbors, turns out he didn't need much help.
A drunk driver hit me head on, hit me and left me. I lost my leg, and I've only got about 50% use of my arm. I take care of everything off the ATV. That's my other leg.
Tony was the one doing most things around the house.
I'm the primary parent at home right now because my wife, works out of town. I stay home and take care of my two girls, Jenny and Ashley.
With him being disabled and me having to be the breadwinner, he supports me being gone Monday through Friday to do what I do.
Work weeks were tough on the young family, but they made up for it on the weekends. And whenever Tony's Grill was on, the neighbors had an open invitation.
Me and Ricky would go over and hang out.
Mostly just on the back porch, grill some hamburgers and hot dogs, stuff like that,
Most times, Roland was nowhere to be seen. The old man wasn't the social type.
Roland didn't really leave the house that much, but when he did go, he wanted to go hunting or go visit maybe a friend or two.
But his daughter, Alicia, made up for that in spades.
Alicia, she was great with the kids. She's like a breath of fresh air. She was up for whatever those kids were doing.
We played with Alicia, and it was all fun. We would just play, like, childish games, play tag and hide and seek, just little kid games.
Looking back, It might have been better if she'd kept her distance.
Alicia had asked to take the girls over to see her movie collection and see what they could borrow.
Can we go, Mom?
Okay, go ahead.
She was just their best friend, and they valued that.
How could anyone have known that the simplest of neighborly acts would change things forever?
I took him over onto the porch and told him to stay out on the porch. I was going to be right back. I went in to get a movie. One of the girls opened the door.
As soon as she opened the door, it was like the dog ran out. Just attacked us.
I hear screams. Oh my God, this dog is gonna kill my kids. Just to hear those girls scream like that.
I was terrified, being unable to just run over there when you hear your child screaming for help.
I was scared and confused.
They were hurt. There were puncture wounds in my girls. They were shaking so bad.
The girls were reeling from the pain of the dog bite, so this was no time for finger pointing.
And Roland said, "We're sorry it happened. This had never happened before, you know, and just go ahead and get medical care. We'll take care of everything. We'll take care of the bills, you know."
My parents took us to the hospital.
The dog bites were treated, but folks knew there wasn't a cure for fear.
If Alicia hadn't intervened, that dog would have had their way with the girls.
The families seemed to have dodged a bullet. Most thought this attack would have driven a wedge between them.
Okay. The hospital bills started coming in. Dad paid with a check, and we thought that was the end of it.
And so did everyone else. When the families went back to their cookouts,
We might throw a couple drinks back, you know, relaxing.
and the girls got back to playing outside.
The girls loved the outdoors. They played on the swings and jumped on the trampoline. They're like best friends, and they're really there for each other.
So no one was at all ready for what was to happen next.
Tony brought us another hospital bill. That was for the exact same amount that Dad had paid the first time.
Wait a minute. You think I'm stupid?
Dad thought that Tony might have tried to reformat the doctor bill to get him to have to pay the bill again.
Man just got an angry demeanor about him. He just said, I'm not going to pay that much, you know.
We figured, why should we be stuck with this bill? His dog bit our children, so we'll file a civil suit.
The Moores were mad enough when the court sided with Roland. But what he did next just sent them right over the edge.
Roland told me, he says, go over and tell Tony I'll give him $20 a month to pay the bill off, even though the court said I didn't have to pay it. And Tony said no. He wanted all of it or nothing. And that's when it just went all to pieces.
Tension was now simmering between the once peaceful neighbors. Most thought it was only a matter of time before bad blood started boiling over. Whatever friendship was growing between the Moores and their neighbor Roland Younts was dead in the water after the dog attack and the squabble over medical bills.
After we carried him to court, we didn't really associate or speak anymore.
The Moores were done with Roland Younts, but you can't exactly walk away from your next-door neighbor.
There was nothing to separate my property from his. I wanted something that could just be a divider between us, between our properties.
We bought trees to plant. We were trying to do the neighborly thing of putting borders between us, since we seemed to couldn't get along.
But Roland sure didn't like the Moores on his property line.
A lot of the things that Tony was doing was aggravating my dad.
I tried to tell Roland that Tony was fixing up the yards, making the yards look nice. I was just trying to keep the peace.
But that's easier said than done.
When they first moved in, Roland Yance and Tony Moore got along great. But after a while, it started getting rough.
The neighbors were starting to butt heads, and no one had any idea how far they'd take it.
My disability checks didn't come this month. I had thought I had heard some commotion going on that night down that way, but, you don't check on everything going on at the road,
Of course, Tony had his suspicions about what was really happening, and two could play at that game.
Sounds like a good idea.
Tony would get on his ATV and drive around the property, making all kinds of noises. It irritated Dad. He wanted peace and quiet, and he wasn't getting it.
Tony rode his ATV most every single day.
But the blaring engine of that ATV was loud enough, and it sure was getting under Roland's skin.
Certain noises and things, he would start whispering to himself. I think it was throwing him back into what he thought was Vietnam.
Seemed like both sides were gearing up for combat. With no one backing down, battle lines were being drawn up quick.
It's 2 or 3 weeks. Disability checks didn't come again. It was an invasion of my privacy.
You been sneaking around?
I've confronted about taking my bill.
Not me.
That's why I need my money to pay my bills.
You didn't have.
You could hear them yelling at each other, violently, cussing each other. It was just continuously arguing over something.
No idea what you're talking about.
The more stuff that happened, the more things got tense.
And Roland wasn't above a little show of force.
We were scared to go outside. Roland would always have the dog out and be walking it.
He agreed to keep his dog confined, but no. We just didn't realize how bitter he was.
And old man Younce was headed over the edge.
We started to worry about what's going to happen in the darkness while we're sleeping.
While Amy was away, sounds outside would keep everyone on edge.
It was scary to know that he was out there.
And like the mail, something else started disappearing from Tony and Amy's house.
I leave on a Monday and come home Friday. Well, there's at least 10 trees gone, just plainly pulled out of the ground. I'd wanted everything that a normal family wanted. Trees in certain places of the yard, flowers. And he just wasn't allowing us to have that kind of dream.
But the Moores were one step ahead of their neighbor.
I had a surveillance camera I put out in my yard to watch the property and all, to see if I see anything.
Sure enough, the camera caught someone of Roland Younce's size with the Moores trees.
We showed it to the police department, but it wasn't clear enough for them to do anything about it.
We have to go by actual physical evidence, but a lot of times that just doesn't happen. Our hands are tied.
Tony and Roland, you could see it just agitating, just, going on and on. Neither one of them was going to give.
We had went out to check the mail, and the mailbox was glued shut. Couldn't even get the key into the slot to even open it up.
He called the law about it, but they told him the same thing. We didn't see it.
It was frustrating not to be able to do something to get these guys to settle down and try to be at least decent neighbors.
I was trying to keep the peace between Tony and Roland, and the more I talked and tried to mediate the problem, it's like the men, both of them, wanted to keep things going.
Folks worried that their families might end up paying the price.
Roland just started taking his dog out whenever we got off school.
You really don't want to get off the bus when there's this dog that can hurt you.
He'd hold the leash and let the dog go a little ways and then yank him back. Just terrorizing us.
He'd already bit my girls, and now he's just taunting us with it. And I said, that dog's come across too, and I'll shoot him.
Tony was threatening to kill my father's dog. It made Dad angry.
Because just as Tony Moore loved his daughters, Roland Younts adored that dog.
Roland was so attached to that dog. When they first got it, he'd put her in his pocket and walk around with her in his pocket.
Here you go, boy.
And he loved it.
Here's a good old puppy.
That was his dog.
You can explain to somebody what we can and cannot do, but if they feel in their hearts that we're not doing enough, it's going to escalate.
The worry was that Tony and Roland were going to keep at each other's throats.
I really don't think he's trying to. I believe Tony wanted to push buttons. It was constant turmoil and constant stress. My dad was getting frustrated. He wanted it to end.
Roland told me out of his own mouth, he's gonna keep pushing me, and I'm gonna stop it.
Two angry men, two hair-triggered tempers, and a feud nearing the breaking point. It wouldn't be long before someone lit the powder keg. Just months after Tony and Amy Moore moved into their dream home, they're locked in an ugly feud with their neighbor, Roland Younts. Hopes that it would get better were fading, and folks hunkered down. Things were only going to get worse.
Jenny and Ashley, they want to go to the creek and play it, and I was always on guard with them.
As much as Tony Moore tried to give his kids a normal life, he couldn't escape the fact that danger was always lurking.
And we come back, we run over a board, had nails in it. I felt the front wheels kind of grab it. And before I could stop, the back wheels had grabbed it and stuck into it, and it come up and smacked behind the four-wheeler. It's a real tense moment. But I knew he'd done it. I was mad. And this is the first thing he'd done violent like that, you know. It could have flew up and hurt one of the kids.
A grown man putting children in harm's way. So you know he's definitely not right in the head.
Tony and Amy were getting desperate. Their little slice of heaven had become a minefield.
I called the law about it, called the sheriff. They come down and looked at it and everything.
He told us what he thought had happened, and we can kind of guess at what happened. But again, we don't go by guessing or feelings.
Did you see him put it down? Did you watch it put it down? I said, no, sir. Because I didn't see him put it there, I can't prove it.
It's not being done while we're there or in our presence, so there's really nothing we can do as law enforcement to arrest anybody.
So then they kept coming out and just kept leaving. And it's like, well, we're just all by ourselves here. That's it. We have no help in the situation. He can do whatever he likes, no consequences.
Most neighbors figured Tony would be the bigger man and back down, what with his little girls to think of. But that's not how things played out. And the war between Roland Younts and Tony Moore was on.
My dad would sit there with his shotgun, watching to make sure that Roland didn't do nothing, because it was pretty scary enough.
I was on guard 24/7. I was just like a prison guard at my own house, taking care of my family.
At some point, you have to take personal responsibility for your own actions. We had given them all the best advice that we could have given them. Whether they took that advice is up to them.
You could cut the tension in the neighborhood with a knife.
I was afraid to let my daughter outside by herself because I was afraid, you know, something would happen.
Turns out she was right. Soon enough, something did happen that put everyone in harm's way.
Daddy, come see what they did.
And Ash comes running back. Daddy threw logs in the yard. It just fired me up, you know. I said, well, let's throw them back over there where they come from then. And they happened to see us throwing them in their yard.
He was throwing them over onto our property, trying to instigate another fight.
When I went out there, Tony was telling his girls to throw the sticks back over in their yard. Get them back in Roland's yard. Enough's enough, man.
But then they start slinging them at us. I picked my pistol up and told them, if you hit her, I'm gonna kill you. Tony said some words to me. It pissed me off. And I told him exactly what I felt about him. And he said he'd shoot me. I said, well, do it. I ain't scared of you. When he shot at me, I had every right to do what I did. Hit me side of the head and broke my glasses and cut my head open.
When you see a patrol car show up every day at the house right beside you, it's very scary.
The law come out and arrested both Ricky and my father for assault on a handicap and a child.
Now, I understand why they arrested me, but why did they arrest that man? Roland didn't even have nothing to do with this incident.
Seems strange that Roland went to jail, but Tony didn't.
We served an arrest warrant. It's just because he was in a wheelchair, we can't take him to jail.
Roland and Ricky's absence didn't exactly leave the neighborhood at peace.
I didn't feel safe. It was very stressful being there by myself, knowing that they could do anything at any time and I'd be there by myself.
They put us in jail for no bond. We couldn't get nobody to help us. It was just like me and Roland was just fighting a losing battle.
It took 2 weeks for Roland and Ricky to get out of jail, and both of them came home with a new level of rage.
I was getting angry. It was making Alicia sad.
The feuding was getting worse, and me and Ricky were being put in the middle of it.
I just wanted to hurt people. I mean, that's just the way I felt. I wanted to eliminate the threat.
Every time I'd have him arrested or something, then it just more fuel on the fire, more fuel on the fire. It made him madder and madder each time.
And Tony was right to fear that rage. He wouldn't have to wait long for Roland to make a move.
That day, he threatened to kill me. So I called 911. I said, is there any way you and your children can leave the scene right now? He stopped behind me and parked his truck sideways. So I couldn't just back at the driveway. And he's mad as a hornet now. Ricky and Alicia come walking down, and that was getting too many people down there, and I couldn't watch all at one time. When they got about halfway to the driveway, I just backed in his truck into my truck, and then pulled up and left. There was no help in the situation. I mean, from day one,
You just knew that something was going to end bad. I mean, it was just hard to deal with Tony, and it was hard to deal with Roland.
Alicia and Ricky moved out, leaving Roland alone to fend for himself.
Alicia, come on!
It just got to be too much. And I knew it was escalating more. I think he felt like we abandoned him.
All he had left was his dog and his anger.
People let their pride and their egos get in the way, and if they would just calm down, go their separate ways, that would help more than anything. But these two were far above any of that. These two really just didn't like each other.
A home is supposed to be your safe haven. Our home was far from being a safe haven.
I was afraid how it was going to turn out.
With both sides locked and loaded, it wouldn't be long before this quiet neighborhood would be stained in blood. For exclusive footage, go to investigationdiscovery.com. The war between Roland Yountz and Tony Moore had reached a fever pitch, with both men now armed and dangerous.
The crazy just shot at me, you know.
Most of us thought the next shot out of the gate might be the last.
This is just beyond crazy. This is absolutely out of control.
He was waiting for confrontation, and I was always armed.
I didn't want to see something bad happen to either Roland or Tony. I just thought that one of them would want to give, you know, not keep on to where it would get worse like this.
Roland kept pushing him beyond his limits. He was taking his sanity away from him, and there wasn't nothing I could do.
Monday mornings were the worst, when Amy had to leave her family to fend for themselves.
She hated to go to work, hated to leave, you know.
I do, sweetie, I do.
Because she wanted to be there to help.
I'm sorry.
It was hard. I felt like I abandoned him every Monday morning to go and pay for a house that we were so unhappy at, so unsafe at.
Gonna miss you.
Miss you too.
It made me feel sad and like just upset.
I couldn't provide and provide protection at the same time. Those two shouldn't have to be separated. But Roland Yountz separated those two for me.
It is frustrating when you know it's going to get worse. And, you know, it's like a freight train. You can't stop it quick enough.
Hey, girls.
The girls went ahead and got a bath. They laid down, went to bed. And I heard someone on the back porch. I said, what in the world? And I went and looked at the door. I was just looking around, you know. He pops up right in front of me, barking and growling. It's just scary.
Harley.
When we heard the first shot, we knowed it was something serious.
Come on, Harley.
And he come around there and shine a flashlight, and he says, I know you ain't shot my dog.
You shot my dog? I will kill you.
And that's the last I saw of him.
I got up, and then my dad pointed out that he killed the dog, that it wouldn't be hurting us anymore.
Many miles away, Amy's fears of leaving her family alone were about to be realized.
Hello? I get a phone call. Hey. You know, it's Tony. Okay. And he's like, well, I shot the dog.
You shot it?
I'm thinking, oh, no. Oh, my goodness, oh, no. I knew then he had took Roland's best friend from him. Yeah, this guy's gonna do something bad.
This is Roland Young. The neighbor next door said he just shot my dog. He did it just for the spite of it, man.
Okay. We'll have an officer on the way.
Better get him out here fast before I kill this mother.
We'll have one on the way.
This guy ain't gonna make it too long.
The call was given to me and my partner. It's a dispute between neighbors. Both parties had called 911. One neighbor was threatening the other neighbor, so we proceeded toward Grandin Road. Me and my partner, I arrived on the scene.
WP9 and Station 13.
I shined the beam of light between both residents to see if anybody was out and about or pondering around, and I didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
Tower 6, it's valid. You ready to copy the give to you?
Deputy Sheriff come up and pulled in the front yard. I opened the front door up, and me and my girls went out. While I was running, I said, shots fired, shots fired.
1840.
My back hurts!
Oh my God, you've been shot.
It was such a shock. Like, I didn't know what to think of it, and I just didn't want to think of it at all.
I was mad. I mean, it's bad enough he shot me. Me and him had problems, but, I mean, why hurt a kid? Seen multiple holes all the way up my left side of my arm and my hand. I know I have to stay calm because if I get excited, the heart's just gonna pump out much more blood out. He shot again. He shot through the window and shattered glass all over top of us.
I heard the call go out over the radio saying shots been fired, Marty was hit. It just kind of sends a chill through you. I just need to get out there fast.
When Tony shot Roland's dog, Amy knew there was going to be payback.
Hello? Jenny?
But not against everyone she loved.
Mommy, Roland shot Ashley. And Daddy, too.
Oh, my God. My heart's not beating at all. I can't breathe. Thank goodness this is a nightmare.
Mommy, I'm scared. What do I do?
Okay, I need you to listen to me very carefully, okay?
I'm like, honey, you gotta call 911. You've got to call 911.
Caldwell County 911. My dad and sister are bleeding because they got shot by a bullet, and my dad got shot 4 or 5 times. My sister got shot in the back, and our mom's not here. What's your name, hon? Jenny. Okay, tell them to stay calm, Jenny. We've got some officers trying to get to you so that you can all come out, okay? Okay.
With one officer down and Roland still at large, police knew there was a good chance no one was coming out alive.
Lieutenant McManus pulled in. His headlights lit us up. I looked down, and my left elbow was squirting blood.
Yeah, I ran up, and the blood was all over the side of his car.
And he grabbed me and pulled me to help and put me in the back seat of his car.
With one casualty taken to safety, Officer McManus is in for another shock.
And that's when dispatch informed me that Tony's little girl had been shot and that she was bleeding and in a lot of pain.
It was bad. I'm shot in the floor, lay here bleeding. Ashley got shot through the lung. She was having a hard time breathing. She wouldn't be still. She was gasping for air.
I saw the blood everywhere. I was so scared and terrified and didn't know what to do.
And we're just waiting, you know, where's the ambulance at? When they're coming in?
Alicia took off to her dad's the minute she heard police were over there.
When I was driving there, I knew something bad had happened.
So we were sitting behind Marty's car, and I'm trying to think of how we're going to get into this house. I looked at my guys and I said, I can't order you to go in there. I said, but there's no way I'm letting a little girl bleed out who's with me. And every one of them said, yeah, we're with you, Sergeant, let's go. I didn't see anything. And, you know, you gotta fear what you can't see.
It was a bloody night in Lenoir, North Carolina. After Tony Moore killed Roland Younce's dog, Roland shot Moore, his 8-year-old daughter Ashley, and the first police officer on the scene. And there was no doubt he still had his finger on the trigger.
We're kind of pinned down right now. I don't know where he's at. All I thought about was getting a little girl. I know she was looking out that window.
I was laying on the floor, you know, bleeding out and couldn't move.
Daddy, can you hear me?
It's terrifying knowing something's going on. There's nothing you can do.
With Tony fading, it's up to 9-year-old Jenny to keep her family alive.
My dad's about to pass out.
Okay, you're doing really good, Jenny, and what I need you to do if he does pass out is let me know, okay?
We just need EMT in here quick.
We're trying to, every time I've tried to send someone in, they've been shot.
Please hurry.
I thought I was gonna die.
What is this?
I don't know.
All the roads were blocked off where you couldn't even get down to the house. And they told me that they couldn't let me in and they wouldn't tell me anything.
I came up with the idea that, well, we'll use Marty's car.
Just roll the car as a shield.
And I figured if we get the car in there, we can load everybody up in the car and just whip it out before he even knows what's going on.
Then I went out in the garage and I opened up the garage door so they could come in.
The little girl ran out of the house. Out of a corner of my eye, I saw Roland laying in the grass. I yelled, I said, "Get back now!" I felt an instant pain in my whole arm. I'd been shot. The other guys just opened up.
And it's like a war going on. Roland shooting back and forth, and they shooting back and forth.
That was the most helpless feeling you could ever imagine. As a parent, you never want to feel that helpless.
All of a sudden, all the shooting stopped. Didn't hear no more. It was quiet.
Police seized the moment to rescue Tony Moore and his girls.
We're in here!
Well, SWAT team come in and wanted to know who was hurting them. I said, just give my daughters that first. And they took them out and they come back and got me.
Amy learned her family had made it out, but their lives were still hanging by a thread.
I'm thinking, is my baby dead? You gotta tell me. I had emergency flights all the way home. That was the longest day of my life.
It was also the longest day of Alicia's life.
That morning, I heard that my dad had been killed.
And want him dead. You just want to ask them why. At what point in your life do you stand up and say, this is my best and only option, knowing full good and well you're not coming out of it? I'd really like to understand that.
Alicia and Ricky made it to Roland's as soon as police lines opened up.
We went to Grandin Road the next day. Tried to figure out for ourselves what happened. You seen the dog certificate? Tore up.
Just explain it, man.
And you can see where he cried on them pieces of paper. And from then on, I knew what was on Roland's mind. Y'all won't give me justice, I'll give myself justice.
"16 hours after she had been shot, I was finally by her side. Seeing her was about the hardest thing. Seeing your baby lay there with tubes coming out of her. She looked like she was peacefully sleeping, but I knew better. Roland Yance tried to take my family from me. I'm glad he didn't succeed. I'm very, very grateful for that.
After I got shot that particular night, you know, my career was basically over from the injuries.
I came back for about a year, and before we all realized that I couldn't do it anymore. This was an awful, awful night that could have been avoided just by leaving each other alone.
And it's tragic to see something happen like that.
Me and Ricky got married, bought a house, and we are now expecting our first child. Even though I'm missing my dad, this is a happier time for me and Ricky.
I do run into Alicia from time to time. She feels just as bad for me as I do for her.
We're good now, the kids. They've healed up good and everything. We've put it in the past. It's done and over with. It's home now. And we're thankful for that.